Give me a moment to get set up here. Got a hot cup of coffee. Make sure I got the chat set up correctly here. Got several things out here in front to take a look at. Been a little bit disorderly lately. And I just realized late last week that I had neglected to edit and publish a video that I had recorded on an iPad. So I was busy editing that this morning right before we got started. Hello, Viljami Siponen. Glad to have you with us this morning. You've been with us before, haven't you? Your name looks very familiar. Maybe not in a while, but sometime here in the last year. Trying to locate the lighter that was in that video that I was editing, so I could show it to you, but can't seem to find it at the moment. The Finnish guy, there you go. Marcelo Albuzeri, glad to have you with us. Junior Knife Collector, you as well. Hopefully I can get my act together and find the lighter that I'm looking for. It is another Pan American Airlines Signis advertiser. And I may have set it down in the other room. Junior Knife Collector, I definitely don't remember you joining us before. Are you a lighter collector as well? I know that there is a lot of crossover between those two hobbies, especially with the Zippo, and there it is, there's the one I was looking for. Especially with the Zippo and case connection. This lighter had a flint that was degraded and turned to powder. You'll be able to see that video of me clearing that out in the morning. Publishing that at 8 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, looks brand new. I'm going to have to go get another light. I'm so far away. Well, maybe I could turn this one around here. Anyway, light's not great. Oh, that's what I was going to see if I could. Yeah, I'll go get a light that I can shine straight in there. But it looks very white. It doesn't look as though it's ever been used. And there was some contamination to the wick up top, but got some dust on my hand somewhere along the way, probably from, oh yeah, from that, turning that light around. You do collect lighters? Yeah, cool. I don't really connect or collect knives. I'm a fan of knives. I've used several in my life. I've owned some case knives that I carried, but I don't have any of those anymore. And then I've owned a bunch of other knives that I used for hunting. So it's not a subject that's foreign to me, but I don't collect them or anything like that. It's more like me and butane lighters. I just use them. Bill Jami says he collects Zippos, yeah, and knives. You guys case knife fans? See if I can thin out what I've got in front of me here so maybe I can sit down. Listed this lighter for sale, I believe Saturday. One marked D and Company. And if Alexei Nemov happens to join us, I didn't mean to neglect your comments about this lighter. Drawn from my own memory as I was making the video and didn't remember. Yeah, there's a possibility that doesn't say any kind of location, a country, any indication of where it's made, so it very well could be India. I don't have any reason to believe it's not. Also listed this Rainier Pacific, or maybe I haven't listed that yet. I've published a video for it. I can't remember if I listed that one or not. I think I did. So we're going to move on to some of these others and maybe even some Signis lighters. And that's one thing I'd like to talk about today, if you guys are game. If anybody has a lighter that they're looking to buy that they've seen in a video, let me know. I will definitely, that's a lighter that will be for sale at some point, but not just yet because it doesn't have the proper flint spring screw in it. These are a couple that will be permanent parts of our personal collection because they were gifts from friends in the hobby. This one from our buddy Friedrich. And this one, the Kami lighter, or Bear lighter, or California lighter, whatever we decided to call it. Ruski lighter. This one was a gift from our buddy Bill. Of course, several others here that I haven't decided yet what to do with. Thorns that was working a whole lot better when I first got, or not when I first got it, it wasn't working at all when I first got it, but after I got the file wheel turned the proper direction. But we'll be making a new video on this one soon, hopefully. The rest of these are either need more work. There's one that I could list. That's a, can't remember the year on it now. Zippo Slim. I have the box bottom, but not the top. I believe that is early to mid 60s. Diagonal pattern with the fleur-de-lis and then pinstriping on the back. I really could use some better light here. That lighter looks brand new. Haven't made an individual video for it yet. Marcelo says those table lighters are so cool. Yeah, you know, there's seems to be just as many of them, if not more, available on eBay than there are the pocket models. And you don't see as many, you know, pronounced adornments like the Japanese artwork or the, I believe that is, I can't remember the term for that now. Is that galoche? Did we talk about that last week? However you, whatever that process is whereby paint is applied to that brass base metal. But you'll see plenty of them out there in advertisers and military models. So yeah, I'd say that these table models are a good place for somebody who likes the idea of the Penguin Signis. Maybe the most affordable way. Well, that's not true. There are plain pocket models that come up that sell for in the $20 to $30 range pretty often. Okay, so you're a knife junior knife collector. That is your YouTube channel. Let me look that up. How long you been publishing videos to YouTube? Do I need to enter it in exactly as you typed it there, with periods in between? Let's see. Junior dot knife dot collector. Oh, there you go. Nice. So I see you've got a video here on, that's a, yeah, those all case knife videos that you got there. And then some pictures there on your community page. Very nice. Well, Viljami, you say you don't have a YouTube channel. What kind of collection? Do you collect lighters other than Zippo, or is it just Zippo? And how many Zippo lighters do you have, Viljami? Because I'm a firm believer that YouTube is an excellent place for whatever it is that your hobbies or interests happen to be. It's really a really fantastic site for people to gather around any given subject. And once you start posting videos, and then other people start seeing your videos, and then you see what other people of similar interests are posting, then you'll find people who are posting the same kind of stuff, and then you kind of create a little community that supports each other. That's kind of the way the lighter community is. There's probably already a knife community. I'm not involved in too many different communities on YouTube, really just the vintage lighter community, but you know, there's some crossover with like the, I can't remember the name of it now, but from watching the Onions videos, 2 a.m. pipe on the patio, you know, you come into contact with a lot of different pipe people. YTPC, that's what they call it, the YouTube pipe community. So, okay, so Viljami says he's got 4 he started last year, and I also have a Maxim card lighter. I'm not familiar with the Maxim card lighter, probably a thin butane lighter. 4 Zippos though, but yeah, there wouldn't be anything wrong with you, even with just 4 Zippos. Taking those 4 Zippos, starting a YouTube channel, showing off your Zippos, talking about them, doing maintenance on them, you know, show off the new ones when you get them, all that kind of stuff. And not only you know, it's if you want to post every day. There's been times where I've posted every day, every weekday. Now I'm trying to post at least one full-length video a week, and then trying to add more, but also publishing a short every day at noon, every weekday at noon. And we'll see. I don't have any grand strategy with the way that I'm posting. It's just been more out of necessity here lately because of when I've been able to work on videos and stuff like that. So. Does it sound okay today? Bill Jami says he has the same Zippo Slim from '94. It's a pretty classic design. I'm sure they probably still make it. I've always been a fan of the flat bottom Slims. The 1 year of Slim that I've had the most of, I've had several that were 1972. And it's real good, and of course they seem to work real good around that year. But that is also a can bottom, where these from the 50s, early 60s up to about 65, I think, had the can or the flat bottom. Marcelo says he just started collecting vintage lighters. Yeah, it's a cool hobby, man. There's no end to the number of mechanisms that you can discover. Good morning, John Dickinson. Glad to have you with us. Yeah, Ronsons are cool too. I love the old Ronsons. It's really because of the look, the unique thumb roller flint tension mechanism. It's what got me onto the Signis and why I say they're my favorite lighters. But for use, they're not the most practical because the fuel supply is so minimal. Doesn't last very long. So yeah, there's always, that's one great thing about Ronsons. They seal up tight, evaporate less fuel. And of course, when Ronsons are working correctly, just as they were advertised, they should light the first time, every time. That is the case with Signis's for the most part. They're very reliable. Ignition. Yeah, but it's different. They don't the Ronson that Zippo owns now isn't competitive with Zippo. Zippo, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that Zippo probably wouldn't be in business if it wasn't for the collectible. What's the word I'm looking for? The fact that their lighters are collectible. There's so many people out there buying them that aren't even using them, just storing them away in closets, refusing to take the stickers off and letting the flints ruin the lighter from the inside. And it's not actually going to ruin the lighter, but it's sure going to give you a mess. But how many people are so ignorant to think that that lighter, I mean, you see it all the time in listings, that the sticker's still on it and it remains in perfect condition. Well, fact is, the vast majority of the time, whether it's got that sticker on it or not, that flint is going to fail sooner or later, and you're going to have a mess inside of that lighter. But yeah, it's different. So Zippo owns the American Ronson now, and the Ronson jet lights, they're made in China. But you know, that's two different markets really. butane jet lighters and Petrol wick lighters. And I do use these Ronson jet lights. They're pretty much my go-to. I use the double torch butane Zippo insert. I love it as well. Those are my main dab straw heaters. But yeah, no, I know a lot of people that put a lot of stock in that Zippo name, and it's cool and all, historic, all that kind of stuff. I love it. I got nothing against Zippos, but there's nothing wrong with the hundreds and probably thousands of other brand names that were created throughout the last century either. Plenty of intrigue all the way around. Whether the lighter's branded or not, plenty collectible anyway around it as well. Marcelo says he's definitely going to check out Junior Knife Collector's channel. He says, I don't collect knives, but I'm a big fan of knife YouTube videos and pages. Yeah, that's cool. You never know what you might discover just from meeting somebody here in a chat room during a YouTube live stream. Junior Knife Collector says he has 40 Zippos. Well, Junior, you should definitely be posting some videos of some lighters on your Knife Collector channel. There's enough crossover there. I don't think you're going to hurt anything posting lighter videos on a knife channel. It's like I'll post anything interesting. Knives, pipe tools, that's obviously related. Knives not so much, but anything Tobacco related or knife related, I just call it another useful mechanism. That's just something I came up with from before everything was cannabis legalization like it is now. You used to couldn't even say certain words when you would walk into a pipe shop. Go in and look at a bong, you couldn't call it a bong. You had to call it a water device or some other nonsense. Marcelo says he doesn't have any Zippos yet. What kind of lighters do you have, Marcelo? Oh yeah, okay. We talked about that last week. Well, maybe we can figure something out. I've been having some problems with the way that I'm trying to send the money to charity, the 10% of each auction, so I may have to rethink it anyway, but even through eBay, we may be able to figure out a way that I know there's an exemption list that you can do. I just have to check out. The reason I quit shipping international completely several years ago is because you couldn't ship or you couldn't track internationally at that time. I think there's probably an affordable way to track to Canada at this point. Got a cup of decaf here. Marcelo says he has 2 IMCO lighters. Yeah, I've got my IMCO also. Carried it out with me last week to light up a joint. I've had maybe a couple others before, but it had been a long time since I had had an IMCO lighter. Somebody asked me last week about said something about if it was the upgraded version there would be a seal. But there's no seal, it just slips inside of there. I believe these are the ones that were made, the box said restoration hardware, and I don't have a lot of details on that. I think it was Friedrich who commented last week that they'd sold a bunch of them in Sportsman's Guide back in the 80s. And I can't remember what the other, sorry, I was trying to get a look at that and then I realized I didn't have it anywhere near where the camera needed to see it. Anyway, it's a good lighter. So, Marcelo, do you have places, you got any flea markets or vintage malls, those kind of places that you can frequent up in Canada? And what part of Canada do you live in? Not that I'm all that well versed in Canada, but eBay is definitely a good place. Whatever vintage items that you are trying to collect or interested in, may take you a little bit of trial and error and work to figure out exact keywords to search to see what you want to see and not miss the lighters that you would like to be adding to your collection. I think we talked about this one a little bit on one of the live streams. And like I said, you'll see that video tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock where we clear out the spare flint compartment. So I still need to make the regular show and tell video in it, or on this one. And when the listing photos on this lighter, the file roller pin there was sticking up visibly. You could tell. I mean, it looked like it may not have been threaded in at all. But then when the lighter arrived at my house, it's like the seller realized when they were packaging it up that that screw wasn't threaded in, and so they just went ahead and tightened it down. I don't know if they tightened it down with a driver or by hand, and it doesn't really make me any difference at this point. I'll put a small precision screwdriver on it at some point and make sure that it's at least snug. But I've got another incomplete Pan American Airlines advertiser, and then I have the big 6-inch long one. So had a couple of these advertisers already, and then this one not only complete, not only appears to be brand new, but different. And this was a lighter that just showed up on eBay one day, listed very affordably, and I made an offer of about 2/3 what they were asking. And they accepted it. Within a few days it was in my hand. So sometimes it's just a matter of seeing a lighter first, making the offer they're willing excuse me, making the offer that they're willing to accept. And then of course hoping that when you get it, it's exactly as you saw in the listing photos, where in this case it's actually a little bit better, because it could have been that the pin was broke and that's why it was sticking up. It was unable to thread in, and then I would need to find a replacement. Done that before. I'm just got that backed out of there sufficiently enough now to where there's no pressure on the file roller. I'm going to go grab a light because I can't remember what I was needing one for a while ago. But give me just a second. Take a drink of your coffee if you got it. Yeah, I got distracted and I forgot what I was going in there for. Definitely plenty of projects here. Marcelo says, yeah, it's just a drive over an hour to get to them, and I live in Ontario. Okay. Is that on the east coast, west coast, middle? Ontario, I think, is on the... Is that on the east coast or toward the east? I know British Columbia is on the west coast. I don't know a whole lot. What is a SOG power? I thought you were saying PowerPoint at first, Bill Jummy. What are you asking about there? What's the SOG thing that you're asking about? If you don't mind clarifying. Oh, okay. Multi-tool. Multi-tools are cool too, yeah. Fan of multi-tools. I've sold a multi-tool or two that, you know, you come up with a lot of different tools, knives, and things by buying big groups of old lighters. And then I've used a few myself in hunting, fishing, those kind of things. Gary says he's drinking a Dr. Pepper. What's up, Gary? Didn't even realize you were with us. Glad to have you with us this morning. I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but I think I've seen an ad since then to confirm this. But my dad, who was not really all that old, I mean, he was born in 1950, told me that he remembered when Dr. Pepper, I thought when it came out, but maybe not, maybe it was just the way they advertised it back then, that they advertised Dr. Pepper as drinking it hot or cold. So you could drink it hot like coffee. And I will say, I don't drink it anymore because of the sugar and the caffeine, but hands down, Dr. Pepper is my favorite soda. I've drank a lot of sugar-free root beer lately, and it's good, but the best soda, hands down, is Dr. Pepper over ice, out of a fountain. Even out of a bottle, over ice, any way around it, Dr. Pepper over ice is the best soda. I agree with you, Bill Jami. And what's that light you're talking about, Gary? Is that the same kind of light that I might hit, or are we talking about something that requires the Surgeon General's warning? Is that what I went after? I thought I went in there after a tool. I moved some stuff around. It's a madhouse around here every Monday morning because the kids are usually here on Saturday, and so there were 200 balls all over the living room floor, along with the other toys and stuff that need to be picked up. My IMCO's not looking very reliable right now, or at least not lighting very efficiently. So I had to move some stuff out of the way, clean up real quick to get things over here back to where I needed them to spread out, talk to you guys, and make some more videos here in a little bit. Made a video last week, see if I can find. I made a video with this. I don't know if I'll ever publish it because I don't know if it really showed anything or not, but this thing has seemed extremely hit and miss for a long time now. But it seems like during that video I got the lighter in a position to where I could really like crank on it, where I had a really strong, roll of the thumb lever or the thumb roller, and then was able to hit the gas all in the same, and it was lighting. So maybe it's just that my carpal tunnel ridden hands don't have the strength in them to consistently. You see, it seems like when that's really a pain in the butt. You ought to be able to just grab it nonchalant. Anyway, I think the problem may be that it's just a little bit hard to strike, and then the weakness of my hands make that worse than it should be. But it's still a decent lighter. It's still better in the wind than a Zippo Petrol insert. Doesn't dance around as easily, it doesn't seem like. So what have you been up to, Gary? And Bill Jami, do you ever drink your Dr. Pepper hot? I also got a comment from Andy Pardon, which I plan on taking this lighter back apart soon and seeing if we might be able to do anything with the wheel to make it a little sharper or cut a little better. But Andy mentioned, and I don't have enough experience with these to know, but he mentioned that forget the word he used, if he used blue or shiny, but you can see where these arms, the claws, have a bluish tint like they've been heat treated or exposed to heat. He said those were replacements and that had something to do with it. And that could be the case, Andy. Like I said, I'm sort of ignorant. But what has sort of troubled me about it, and if you'll go back and watch, and I may have to do this, but the very first videos that I made of this lighter, it was much more, I don't think it was skipping on that every third. I think it was lighting in every position. And for some reason then over time using it, I don't know if the wheel, but it's like it's not even biting the, barely, you can see a spark, but well, there's no fuel in here right now, but there's definitely some. There's spark, didn't see a spark there, no spark there, little spark there. Of course, you may not see it every time because of the way it occurs behind the little tube there, but and that's a lighter that I've promised to our buddy Jay, so hopefully I can get it working better to where, you know, he could just take it and use it. But if not, I've seen Jay work on several lighters of his own lately, and he seems to have no problem troubleshooting and figuring out the cause, and before you know it, he's got a dependable lighter. So if I can't figure it out, then I'll just send it on to him and let him have the project. Trying to remember, that's a lighter that I'd planned on giving away, just never got around to it. Most of those are projects. Hello Dean P. Friedrich, glad to have you guys with us. Should be receiving a package from you today, Friedrich. Hopefully early enough in the day that we can get a video published here in the next day or probably a couple days. I've already got one that I'm trying to get published tomorrow morning. Oh, Arp Henningsen, glad to have you with us also. Dean P. What oh man, I got to back way up. I didn't realize how many of you joined. Okay, yeah, so Friedrich and Olarp, y'all joined us way up there. Gary says mostly flint and steel lately, Joe. If I buy a Zippo, it's cannabis themed, so that's slowed down. Gotcha. Yeah, the cannabis themed ones are really cool, and there are some new cannabis themed ones that are pretty cool too. But I always like to see what designs they might come out with. And trying to think, I think I just still have the one. I had a couple. I had that 1976 Slim with the painted cannabis leaf. That was really cool. What do you mean? But Dean says, don't forget to dump a thump. What are you talking about, Dean? Friedrich, yeah, it might. You know, I don't know. Are you talking about one of the AliExpress wheels? I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember now. Oh yeah, this lighter was basically complete when I got it. The wheel was backward. So I turned the wheel around, it started working, but then over time it began to operate less reliably. And we did a bunch of stuff in there in between. Changed the wick several times, so it's probably something that I did that turned the lighter to not operating efficiently anyway, but we'll see if we can get it figured out. Argyle in brass. Am I mispronouncing that or something else? Or reshow, yeah, and that's something that I've thought about. So what are you saying? Applying it to heat, then dipping it in sulfuric acid? Or heavy vinegar? Yeah, I'll look into that. That's something I've thought about. Also, maybe just I hadn't really even. Sure, I cleaned it before I put it in there, but I don't know how deeply. Probably in the same time. It's probably in the same video that I pulled it out that I turned around, just turned it around. So maybe not. It could probably use a good cleaning. We'll see. Now, when you say it resharpens the teeth, you're not talking about just applying heat and then putting them in the liquid. You got to sharpen them as well, right? Resharpen it and then harden it? Or does just rehardening it improve it? Okay, I'm not sure that I've seen that one, Gary. Huh, interesting. Yeah, I may have to try that, Friedrich. I'm gonna have to get some time. Here lately I've, only been able to record videos on about 3 days a week. And then sometimes those days I get bumped off of those days too. So really, like, setting things out and doing things that take very long, I've kind of steered away from lately because I just haven't had that much time. But I'll have more time and figure out some ways to manage my time a little bit better moving forward, hopefully. I have no idea what you're talking about, Dean, but I think I probably won't repeat it again. Yeah, when you sent the message on Thursday, I think I didn't get around to tracking it on Friday, and then it said it would be on the 3rd. And then I think by yesterday, I got on there and tracked it again yesterday, and it had arrived in Oklahoma City, so not too bad. Everything's a little bit different now, nothing's first class anymore, so they've just lumped in first class in with what used to be parcel post. So where things locally used to be 1 day, now it's like everything's a minimum of 2 days, at least as far as their official commitment. And so, yeah, where it used to be 1 to 3 days for first class, now it's 2 to 5 days for what used to be first class, which is now in the same boat as parcel post and parcel select and all these other discounted services, which they now call, I don't even remember now what it's called. And they're not paying me to advertise for them anyway, so. Yeah, hello, first of all, Christoph. I've got an IMCO right here. Been fiddling with it since somebody brought up IMCO lighters earlier. May need some more fuel. I did fuel it at least a week ago. I think it was last Monday while we were here on the live stream. But yeah, I like them. I've had others, but not a ton. They're not my favorite lighter or anything like that, but they're good. Yeah, are you Friedrich? You talking about the guy on on YouTube that has a video of him doing that with the Thorns wheel, recutting it with a Dremel? I'm gonna go get some fuel and we'll see if putting some more fuel in there. So when you said vinegar a while ago, are you talking about would 30% vinegar be good enough? No, I think that your IMCO from AliExpress is probably going to be usable. It might be different. I think maybe they don't have, you may not be able to pull it out like you do the old ones. It may be fixed. It may have a screw in the bottom. I know that some of them do, rather than pulling the insert out. But no, I imagine it'll be a decent lighter. I imagine it'll be worth the $5 you paid for it on AliExpress. Oh yeah, I was gonna fuel that up. I'm trying to remember now, Friedrich said, yep, and it all now depends on how they want to bust those parcel bundles down. Oh, getting back to what we were talking about USPS and combining those services. It's been so long, well, I fueled it last week, I think, but I don't have any idea. It's not a very big tank, but I bet it would hold at least 4 or 5. There's 3. It's not coming out of the wick yet. Well, maybe just damp now, and it didn't overflow as I was filling it up, but I squirted that in there a little bit fast, and you could see it kind of backing up there like it was going to overflow. So that should be about as full as we want it. So now we'll probably suffer from vapor lock. We'll light that up here and there though and see if it lights up better. Maybe it was about out of fuel. A week's time is probably, I don't know, it does seem like maybe it was closer to 10 days or so when I was using this regularly last summer. Friedrich says the AliExpress Imcos are good. Instead of standard steel, the Chinese ones are made of stainless steel. Well, is stainless better than the standard steel? They almost weigh twice as much as the Austrian sheet steel originals. Okay. Yeah, I sent him a message once, and he didn't seem to be very collaborative or want to share any information. I can't even remember now exactly what it was I was messaging him about. Hello, Devin. Glad to have you with us. And you're asking where I get most of my lighters from. The vast majority of them come from eBay and other online estate sale outlets. Mostly eBay though, the vast majority. You know, I did mention, showed a couple of these table lighters earlier that were gifts from friends that I've met in the hobby. And matter of fact, this one was a gift from Friedrich himself. So that's one way that I acquire lighters here lately too, is I've received a few as gifts, but the majority of what I buy are on eBay and a few others. A place called High Bid. There's a few others. I might or might not want to tell you about all of those. I don't know. It's pretty easy, you know, to register with these different sites and then watch the listings. It's just a matter of, you know, having the time, money to buy and time to look. And here lately, I haven't really had much of either. Okay, so Friedrich, are you saying that just soaking the wheel in vinegar will sharpen it? You don't even need to heat it? I'm feeling really ignorant right now. Christoph says, oh great, good news. I was just looking for something not too expensive that works with fluid. Was thinking about Zippo, but just looking around other options, discovered Imcos. Yeah, and you know, there's definitely nothing wrong with, and you know, I guess we can argue about whether those are real Imcos or not. I'm sure they're working off the original license or patent or whoever, maybe not, maybe that's all expired, but I'm sure it's going to be a good functional lighter. And if nothing else, you know, I know for me personally, my very first Petrol lighter was a 2000. It was this actual lighter with the Petrol lighter insert in it. 2016 brushed chrome Zippo. I've talked about that several times. I've been binge watching Sons of Anarchy, and the protagonist Jax Teller was always getting off of his motorcycle and flipping open his Zippo and lighting up his cigarette, so I was intrigued. So I bought a little kit with this 2016 brushed chrome in it. Came with fuel, flint, all that kind of stuff. Started using it. That turned me on to old lighters, and in pretty quick time it sort of became what I do. Okay, I'll have to give that a try then. I'm not I don't have enough background. You know, I know a little bit about heat treating. I know that you heat it up and then you quench it in oil or some other kind of liquid, maybe even water, I don't know. But I had not, I'm not sure that I had experienced that before. So you're saying that the vinegar itself will sharpen up the wheel. That'll be easy to try, if nothing else. Is the sulfuric acid method, does that require heat, or that's just sulfuric acid? Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to be messing with drain cleaner. Gotcha. Yeah, so if nothing else, the stainless steel should be better. If I could only keep one lighter, Christoph, it would be, well, as far as my collection, yeah, it'd be a Signis. Even if it was only one Petrol lighter that I could use, I'd be filling it up all the time because they don't have much of a fuel life. But it would be a Signis. They're my favorite. The unique thumb roller flint tension mechanism. Got several with different artwork adorning them. We talked last week or the week before about whether that might be urushi lacquer or the maki process, or both. I think urushi lacquer is used in the maki process. But these are really nifty little lighters. I'm not going to go cranking on that thumb roller there because I don't want to mess up the very I don't know if unique, scarce, rare, what the right word would be, but I know that if I screwed that artwork up, I'd be kicking myself. Here's another one though. Emerald green, gold accents. This manipulates your flint tension. And then of course these don't have fuel in them, so they're not going to light. And I don't know, I'm really kind of struggling with it right now. Like today, yesterday I paid the hosting for my website for the next year, and that's not cheap. So I really need to sell some more lighters, and that's probably what I'm going to record a video or two this afternoon and hopefully take some more pictures and get some more lighters listed. But I'm going to have to start thinking about selling some of these others just because I've got so many in my collection, and don't have much room, and what I neglect to consider oftentimes is I really need to make some money. That one is sort of a pastel pink with gold accents. You saw the one with the watch, which I would call hot pink, and I need to get the watch working in it. But that's one reason why I'm so eager to receive your package today, Friedrich, is because that will be an opportunity to use that mechanism, which will should actually be closer to this, with the automatic snuffer. I'm really looking forward to being able to use that. And we'll see. I think you said that it was one of the painted models. We'll see how durable that looks. But I definitely plan on filling it up and using it. And hopefully it looks durable enough that I can feel confident to carry it, just not carry it in a pocket with anything else maybe. But some of these others are a little bit harder to, well, all of these that I'm showing you now are a little bit harder. I haven't seen but just a few of these Signis pipe lighters. So not like just itching to let that one go. And I really do like this long Pan Am advertiser. And I can't remember now what I paid for it. $35 maybe. So I may have to keep a hold of that one just because I can't get my money back out of it. I paid too much because it's actually a pretty common lighter. I mean, there's several of those on eBay right now in the $50 range, where you're not going to find another green one for sale right now. You're not going to find one that's hot pink with a watch, or the Mount Fuji artwork. That's another really cool lighter. So all of these that I've just shown you here in this box, for the right price, I would definitely be willing to let go of. And somebody got a hold, I think it was actually Alex Nemoff or Alexei Nemoff, whatever his name is. Again, said it's probably this lighter that he was commenting about, said he wanted to buy it from me privately, but I do it through eBay, through page on my website, dependableflame.com/current eBay listings. And there's several reasons why I do it that way. As you can see here at the top, it says, as a member of the eBay Partner Network, are earned from qualifying purchases. Clicking through and purchasing a lighter from a link on this page will result in Dependable Flame earning a commission. Your price will be the same regardless. So these are affiliate links. When you click on one of these, they take you from our site over to eBay. And then, even though that's our product, that's one that I'd already sold, need to go over there and update that. But that is our product, our listing, but eBay still pays us a commission. So that's what those affiliate links are about. And there's also links in the articles toward that lead you to Amazon. We also earn on those. So anytime you click through one of those links and make a qualifying purchase, then that is going to benefit dependableflame.com. But I also, as you can see with each of our listings, a portion of it is going to go to charity. And all of them that we've got up right now are just our regular listings. And trying to find where they have the, should be a place on here where it tells you, yeah. Right now I can't choose Huntington's Disease Society of America because that organization has somehow failed to keep their paperwork up to date with eBay, according to eBay. So I am giving that 10% to Huntington's Disease Youth Organization of America. I'll correct that when I know that they've got it fixed and I'm able to, but right now I need to list some lighters. So either way, it's going to an organization that benefits those who have been affected by that terrible disease. And that's the disease that killed my father, of course. So yeah, Christoph, Signis are my favorite. Let me catch back up here. Looks like I'm falling way behind. What's your favorite? Then Devin said I had grabbed some of my late grandfather's lighters and they piqued my interest in older and antique lighters. Cool, yeah. That's the way a lot of people end up entering the hobby. So just soaking. Crazy. The wheels with worst tendency to lose temper and T-sharpness are the small disc. Yeah, that's for sure. I've had a lot of problem with those. I guess that would depend on what kind of spark you were getting, Devin, if you thought that maybe it was not creating the spark it needed. Okay, cool. So same procedure whether you're using vinegar or, would you say sulfuric acid? I don't have sulfuric acid, but I do have vinegar. So both of you guys, Friedrich and Olarp, y'all have both sharpened wheels this way in the past? Friedrich says the sad part is the place in Japan that used to paint urushi is a dying industry and not cheap. The last earthquake destroyed the artist area that does it. Just to get a pin urushied anymore is $250 US or more. Yeah, I've put, well, I'm trying to remember, ARP, whether I've had some backfire on me putting it down the tube in park lighters because of the way that those are affixed. Those aluminum tubes and inserts are affixed together. It's like an adhesive, not soldered or anything like that. So I'm trying to, but I've heard plenty of people say that with Zippos, that they just put a little down the tube. So Devin says, well, he's here and has some knowledgeable people, which you do have some knowledgeable people, especially Friedrich and Olarp. I'm trying to remember who else has been with us so far, but those two guys definitely have a lot of knowledge. He says, I have a flintlock pistol style lighter that my grandfather had, and the metal tab that pushes the striker is broken. Where could I get parts for it? Pretty much, Devin, parts for anything are just going to be a matter of searching out donor lighters or finding, sometimes you'll find parts just listed, and I can see where people might list parts for that particular kind. Are you talking about an actual flintlock, like tinder pistol, or does it have a wick? Friedrich says in the 30s through the 70s, Urushi was affordable as there were thousands of Urushi artists. Now there is only maybe 150 to 175 of them left. Very interesting. He says, I'm very surprised at how well built the Zorro copy of the Signis Automat is. So have you been using yours? Have you been using yours, Friedrich? Have you filled it up? Used it to light up? He says because the bottom is a separate plate, they routed out the entire body so it has huge fuel capacity. Interesting. All right, man, I'm really looking forward to getting it and using it. Hello, Professor. Glad to have you with us. You're live on your own channel. Well, next time hit me up. Maybe we can just go live together. Friedrich says, only colored Signis I have is the black anodized with gold trim. But of course, it's the hard to use short model. Yeah, I got one of those myself. But it's very well used, mine. The anodizing is well worn to where it kind of gives it a pinstripe look. Looks like it doesn't have a seal or gasket on the fuel screw. You see the gold anodizing is worn off of that knurling. And the interesting thing about this one is marked Super Signis. It's very hard to see, so I'm not sure. Oh, I was going to get a light a while ago. That's what it was, Gary. I was going to get a light. There we go. So it says Super Signis, and somebody told me that the Super Signis was the automatic version. So when I bought it, I still have a really hard time when I see these things in a listing knowing whether they're short or not. You don't really have anything to compare them to if there's no other lighters in the listing. So when I bought it, I thought it was a full size, and I thought because somebody told me that the Super Signis were the automatic, I thought it would have the automatic mechanism. It doesn't. And like you said, they're very hard to use. They're so small. So. Oh, you said the light. You're right. You did. You did. And even when you said it, I still thought you were talking about something else, Gary. Yeah, that was my own thick head there for sure. So yeah, I've got a few different colors. I've got black. I had a champagne tone one that I sold. That was the Canadian Club Whiskey. Here's sort of a rose gold, or maybe that's sort of champagne. This is the one that's marked Prince. I think I'm down to about 24 of them. Sold a few lately. And so I'm like, this one is marked Le Briquette at Sea. These that are marked differently, I'm kind of leery to sell them. I'm leery to sell the, like I said, I can't really get my money back out of this one, so that's probably I ought to just keep this one and start using it, and then I could quit complaining about the fuel life. Maybe the fuel life would be a lot better in that one. It is used, so yeah, maybe I ought to just start using this. Kind of big to go in the pocket, but it's long and straight. Yeah, but if you see one that you say, man, I really need that, I could be convinced for the right price. And some of these do have some blemishes. There's a blemish on the corner of that one for sure. Some scuffs, scratches, also probably some other dings. Definitely carbon soot buildup because they do get used. If I receive them and they haven't been used, then it's hard for me to use them. I usually move them on as new. But if they're used and they're getting lit, then they're getting used. This is one that, because it's worn so much, I have used a lot. A few more scratches on it isn't going to hurt anything, but what a fabulously decorated, engraved lighter. Yeah, I put it on my belt, Gary, is that what you're saying? Yeah, I probably have a knife sheath, a hunting knife sheath that it might fit in. And the only bad thing about using this one is you're going to wear off the advertisement, but it's a really cool lighter. Really nice engine turn design. Not sure. I don't think that's herringbone or houndstooth. Maybe is that houndstooth? Some damage to the fuel screw, which, if I remember correctly, that fuel screw is a little bit wonky, a little bit difficult to start. In fact, let's just go ahead and open it up and see how much fuel this one will hold. That fuel screw was damaged when we got this lighter. And that's one thing about old lighters that you recognize pretty quick is if you're going to deal with some damage, a lot of times that's where you're going to have to deal with it at, because those slots get damaged. That's the rare inset fuel screw for a Signis, where of course the pocket models are knurled and you can see them from the outside. So if a regular size Signis holds 2.5, will this one hold more than 6, 8? Looks like we got a little bit more than 2 times the length. I'm going to say it's going to hold about 8. You guys want to venture a guess? You say it's too nice for a sheath. Well, the bad thing is, like I said, wearing off. If I use it, I got no doubt that I'm going to wear that off, but or at least wear some of it off. 12 droppers. Now, whether or not it's packed well, I can't say, but I would say that it's probably still the factory packing. So let's just see. Oh, definitely don't want to put the concentrated vinegar in there. That'd be a mistake. There's one. Two. Three. Four. Five. You guys be sure and correct me if I get off count. Six. That took that a second to swallow. There's seven. And that looks like it's not going to finish that one up. Well, maybe. It absorbed it, but it is also dripping out the wick. So, definitely 7 was a bit much. 6 probably would have been perfect. So, I'm going to shake this out. Well, no, I'm not either. It's already going in the other direction. So once I get the fuel cap in it, then I will open up the snuffer and shake that out. And then leave it open and let it dry a little bit. This O-ring or rubber seal here definitely complicates you trying to get the fuel cap threaded back down. There we go. Had to slide down over that rubber seal before those threads make contact. So you can still see that is wet. So I'm going to shake this out in the sink and then bring it back over here and leave it open for just a second. And we've got a spot or two on the floor that will dry soon enough. All kinds of stuff out here. Okay, dried up the floor just in case I throw an errant spark down there or something. So that'll be interesting to see just how long fuel lasts in this. May have held a full 7 droppers, but it lost some of it, and then we shook some of it out on top of that. But I get proven wrong all the time, but I've said on several occasions that I feel like these lighters are impervious to vapor lock, and they really do ignite startlingly effectively. Very seldom do you get a whiff with a Signis. We've also talked about the fact that in general I think they are meant to be struck sort of sideways or at an angle rather than a straight up. Although that one didn't have any problem lighting just like that either. Check out the live chat again. See if I've missed anything. The professor was with us for a short period of time there. Glad he joined us. Glad Gary's with us. Been a while since I've heard from you, Gary. I would agree with you that they're all Pan Am. I don't remember seeing any of these that were. There's also the Pan Am building lighter. It's a big table lighter. But yeah, this is sort of a unique, it doesn't have a big base on it. The only thing that really would separate this as a table lighter would be the fact that it's so tall. But yeah, probably cabin light. That might lend itself. It's just a bigger version of the pocket lighter, basically. Got a little bit bigger footprint. But keep in mind too, with that inset fuel port or fuel screw, of course the hole in the regular pocket size lighter isn't all that big either. The actual threaded hole, it's just the oversized nature of the knurled face of the screw. But that hole going down through there for it to fuel isn't any bigger than the hole in that, I don't think. So I guess that's probably about right, about 7. And I don't know how much use, oh look at that. Of course that wasn't necessarily vapor lock, I don't think. That just kind of looked like weak spark, which we can always tighten that up or loosen it however you need to, depending on the spark or the smoothness of your file roller. There was another miss, so yeah, we might need to tighten that up just a bit. Friedrich says the camel wool got him to holding 3 full droppers in a standard size Zippo. Interesting. I saw a camel wool listing the other day, or camel hair, whatever they're calling it. Might have to check that out. You think they made it so it was harder for folks to stick it in their pocket and carry it out? Yeah, and it also had a bigger fuel economy for, well, I don't know. How much did it bother them? Probably didn't bother them to put petrol fluid on a plane back in the day. Probably the 60s when these lighters were being made. So you think that the Automat came later? Think that was like an improvement? never really considered that, whether they were both created at the same time or. We hadn't been doing a lot, Gary, and I'm not sure. Facebook, YouTube keeps asking me to do these vertical lives, so that's why I started here just a couple weeks ago. When I was getting the set up, getting lighters out, I'd pop it up, get on, see who joined up, just talk about lighters. So that's what I've been doing, rather than the other kind of lives that we've done before. I don't really know what the difference is. But yeah, we've done one each of the last 3 or 4 weeks, I think. So that's yeah, and I know I'm the same way, guys. You know, I subscribe to all the lighter channels and East Wad, Doom Flom, and Curated Flame, and when a video gets published, I go there and it's already got a bunch of likes, and you realize it was published 19 hours ago or whatever, and it's like, why didn't it notify me when it was published so I could have seen it then? Same thing with lives. I mean, really, kind of need to have those notifications for the live go out while you're live or before you're live so people know. So that's why I went over and posted it on the Facebook Dependable Flame Facebook page and Facebook group. So if you're not a member of those, either of those, the page or the group, you might go over there, and I always try to let everybody know in that group at least. Yeah, maybe. I haven't, I didn't even have an automatic version till here this last year, and I've got 3 of them, and I haven't even really been able to explore it or disassemble it completely like I want to. So I got plenty of stuff that I need to get around to with those lighters. It's just like I said, those are more detailed. You get the lighter taken apart and then don't have time to get it back together, and then when's the next time? You'd really like to be able to get something apart and back together and get it all tidied up, not have things just floating around. Yeah, I wondered about that too. I didn't know. They're obviously the U shape. They're more of the U shape, but there's a round version too. Then there's also a table version that doesn't have a base. There's actually a black anodized. That's what it looks like. It looks like this lighter, but being black anodized and no base on eBay right now. What do you mean, yes, and you can't get away from it until they allow you to? Yeah, I've certainly had a few things in my pocket that burn my leg. I used to have a really bad problem when I first started using Zippos of overfilling them all the time. I still have a problem with overfilling them, but I had a problem with overfilling them and then just sticking it straight in my pocket. I don't wear jeans anymore for one, so not very often anyway. Had that pepper spray leak in my pocket before too. So has anybody got any lighter related projects going on this week? Other than me looking forward to receiving the package from Friedrich today, using that lighter and doing a video on it and all that. What kind of projects you guys got in the works? I still think that Friedrich and OARP and all of you, we were talking earlier with Marcelo and And who was the other one? Christoph. And Viljami, Marcelo and Viljami, about having your own YouTube channel. It really is it's been a really pleasant experience for me to get on here and show off lighters that I'm trying to sell. That's how I started, just making little 1-minute videos where I just showed you the lighter. There was country music playing in the background. And then that turned into making longer videos and showing them off in more detail and talking more about them, and then repair videos. And so I do all those kind of things, but you know, there's all there. It's not like I do everything. I don't enjoy looking up old information and hunting down patents and stuff like that. When you look at Eastwald Flom's videos, he's got the patent in every one. He's chased down all this information. So you know, each channel makes videos a little bit different, has a little bit different focus, but they're all focused on lighters, and especially Petrol lighters. It's not that many people that use them anymore, so it's cool to me to gather with those who do, show them off, share them, talk about them. And I think the more that are willing to post videos and share these things, the more people that'll get inspired, the more people that get in the hobby, the more it's just better for everybody. The hobby gets carried along. The plane has to get to, oh, you're saying when you get to cruise altitude, then it's going to purge the fuel. Oh, okay. And see, that's one thing. Do you guys remember the conversations with our old friend Giovanni Abazia? I haven't heard from Giovanni in a long time, but he didn't believe in the capillary effect. He said it was just an overfilled lighter. What do you mean you can't believe you found it? Like it was just missing in plain sight? Yeah, that's like people losing their reading glasses that are propped on top of their head. You guys remember seeing any lighters in the Facebook groups this week that really stood out? I'm trying to remember, I don't remember whose post it was. I remember sharing a group of 5, I think they were KW lighters with different geometric designs on them. Maybe they were silver sleeved. We also had several posts this week in the DependableFlame.com group by Larry Lighter. I appreciate that. Love seeing that. And Peter Maloof. Some really cool lighters. I'm not sure how long Peter's been collecting lighters. I don't remember seeing him posting in the groups till the last year or so, but definitely got an awesome collection. Yeah, I can see why you would need to leave your seat. Brought this out here. I need to clean out this tray to use it. Some of the clipper flints that our buddy Robert Hollingsworth Jr. sent us. A bunch of lighter stands. Bell, I bought that at a local antique. We used that in a video or two There's an old, that looks like a Dunhill Blue right there. One of the old Dunhill Blues. Definitely don't want to lose that. Yeah, Peter, he's got, and Eastwa as well, man. That dude's got a lot of cool lighters. And man, I really love, I don't know what Jad's background is, if he's, did things in his career with photography or video, but his videos are so well done, and it's like there's not a wasted second in the whole thing. This is a silver dollar, although it's not actually silver. It's a dollar coin from my birth year. I don't even remember when I got that or how long I've had it. That's Dwight Eisenhower, I believe. And here's my trusty old Ronson Whirlwind Imperial. Got a question under one of the videos here in the last couple of days. Looks like I re-wicked that with something that turned really bushy. Might have to fuel that back up and try to use it. Somebody was asking me about the S6, the Whirlwind, I'm trying to remember what the other name was now. Somebody also got on yesterday, comment section under one of the videos, and told me that the generic gold colored flints were trash. I think that's a little strong. I think they're just fine for most lighters. For a Zippo, I don't think you're really going to know the difference, but for some lighters, yeah, they may not work quite so well. Some lighters are just a little more finicky than others. No reason to start calling flint names or anything like that. Hello, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Faux or Faux, however you pronounce it. F-O-U-X. Glad that you have joined us. Friedrich says, I found a source in France for the Dunhill and ST DuPont flints, only €250 a package, but the shipping makes you need to make a decent order size to justify it. Are we talking about the old Dunhill Blues, Friedrich? Are these verifiable? And I realize we may not have even verified that there's a difference, but when you're shelling out $20 a package for 9 flints, definitely would be helpful to know that it's the better quality flint that you're hoping to get. Okay, says he's waiting on verification as to new or old. He also says, I have a trick too I'll have to show one time of recycling a grommet from disposable butane lighters to make the old style fuel saver wicks from the lighter repair manual. Okay. You gonna make a video? Maybe you should make a video and post it on YouTube. Well, I appreciate you saying that, Gary, and Friedrich as well. I'm liking the atmosphere. You know, I think I'm a pretty calm guy, and so I try to be when I'm working on those lighters. Occasionally, it's just like playing golf or working on a car, or things like that. You may want to start throwing stuff around when things don't go your way, but you know, it's just a lighter, and if I can't get this one working, or if I destroy one in the process, I still got a bunch of others. The number of lighters that I've destroyed has been very few, a handful. I can think of a Camel branded lighter that was an MCO copy that I run trying to drill the old flint out of it. Had the same mechanism. Other than that, I can't remember running too many lighters, but I'm sure I know there were others. I just can't think of them right now. But more times than not, it's just as simple as getting a drill bit up a tube, getting a wire fed down a chimney to drag through the body of the lighter to re-wick it. Falk says, hi, so basically I have a question. Did you ever stumble upon a Petrol lighter that wouldn't open, especially a Soviet one? I don't think I've ever had a Soviet lighter, first of all. Second of all, yeah, I've had plenty of them that wouldn't open. You know, what do I do with that other tray? Ronson type lighters with this kind of fuel screw. I've had several of those that I just couldn't get to break free. But I will say too, I've seen people talk here lately about applying heat to them. That's something I've never done. I would say before you apply heat to one, you might want to give some thought, because if it's a painted lighter, applying that heat could damage the paint. Leather, any kind of embellishment, or celluloid wrap like this one. So you might want to think before you apply heat, but I can see where that would be effective. Heat it up. The metal expands, contracts, whatever. Now we're talking about two different things. When Friedrich says usually cemented flint keeps it from opening, what he's talking about is opening the mechanism or the lock. So the mechanism won't open if the flint is seized. That is a problem, but it's also a problem opening the fuel screw, the fuel cap, fuel screw. Which is it that you're talking about, Falks? Have you tried something like that before, Friedrich? Have you written to a company like that and gotten an answer back? Okay, so Falks, when you say you can't open it, are you talking about you can't open it this way, or you can't open it this way? Can't open the fuel screw, or you can't open the mechanism? Well, yeah, then you just need to take it apart. What kind of lighter is it? Is it an automatic lighter like this? Or is it a flip top Zippo style lighter? Because I can probably point you toward a video which will give you some tips, show you how to take the mechanism apart. I don't have any videos for those that I haven't done that yet, as far as heating up a screw that's seized. Gary says my best friend just gave me a Ronson Typhoon that he was using in high school, 1976. Yeah, I've had a few. I think we've done a couple of videos on Ronson Typhoons. I haven't had any real nice ones. Friedrich says yes, he's going to make a rudimentary video on how to do it. When done, I'll link it to you, and you can probably replace the video to better quality than me. Well, I don't know about that, but I will definitely take a look when you post it. Okay, Falk, so you're saying it's an automatic. Well, Falks, go over to the Dependable Flame, go over to YouTube, type in dependableflame.com, and then click on the Groups tab. Join that dependableflame.com Facebook group, and post a picture of your lighter over there. We can answer your questions there. Friedrich says he likes the Ronson Typhoons, very reliable. Yeah, they're good. Flip top, windproof lighter. Friedrich says yes. Surprisingly, a lot of the higher end companies will respond. Fuel's obviously waning, but I don't even remember when I fueled this up. It's got a pretty good fuel life on it. And Japanese companies, yeah, I guess the problem, most of those companies that made Japanese, well, I guess from the 70s maybe, like Soromi's not still in business, are they? Trying to remember what, yeah, they're... How many actual Japanese companies are still in business from the occupation era? Falk says he's never seen any lighter like that. Yeah, go over to Facebook, Falks. Go to Facebook, search dependableflame.com, then click on the Groups tab. Join that group. We can then see what kind of lighter you're talking about, and I can hopefully point you toward a video showing a similar lighter, similar mechanism, same principles, hopefully. If not, then that's still your best chance, because you got over 1,000, over 1,100 people over there in that group. There's usually 150 or so active at any one given time, and you got people over there that know a lot more than I do. Got experience from decades with different mechanisms and all that kind of stuff. So it may be, for me, it's always best if I can demonstrate it, if I can show you how to do it, but sometimes it's good enough for somebody just to tell you how to do it. But when you say an automatic lighter, it's got a thumb lever. What is it that you say you've never seen one like this? What is it about it that looks so different? I know the other Soviet lighters that I've seen on eBay and such seem to be copies of other, like Western designs. Yeah, I'm not sure the iPad that I was monitoring this from is seized up on me, so I'm going to try to catch up here on the chat. Yeah, Friedrich says many are copies of German or American mechanism. Penguin prints are still in business. Oh, really? And are they still making lighters? Huh, interesting. Interesting, Friedrich. Well, I'm really looking forward. I haven't gotten back on the iPad yet to check whether your packages arrived, but definitely look for video. Very intrigued by that lighter. Look forward to using it. Falk says I can open to take out the flint and maybe take out cotton from a little hole, yeah, but I can't open it to change opening mechanism. So basically, you can't actuate what is supposed to light the lighter. That sounds like what Friedrich mentioned earlier. Chances are you've got degraded flint that has seized the whole thing up. But yeah, if you can take pictures and post it over there, then we could get an idea and either, hopefully, like I said, hopefully point you toward a video of a similar lighter, which I've made hundreds of repair videos, so it's possible that I've got something similar out there that just goes by a different name. Fueled up our extra long Signis Pan Am advertiser today. It held 7 droppers and began to leak it out the closed snuffer as it soaked in that 7th dropper, so it was just a little bit too much. And I might stick this in my pocket, carry it down the street later to light something up. I will definitely light it here and there and just see how many days we can get it to light. I would think that you would get at least a week. Some Signises only give you a few days, some others will give you 5 or 6. They're sealed off. This one had a rubber seal. We'll just see how well it retains that fuel and keeps it from evaporating out. Like I said, with that rubber seal and inset screw, you would think that would seal it off pretty good. It's not the tightest snuffer in the world, but it's not loose either. Actually, it's pretty tight. It's just, you know, there's not like a rubber seal there, you know, really sealing it off. Just metal on metal. But it is having to come up through the wick. It should face some interference from just freely evaporating out of there. Anyway, fun lighter to light up and use. Also had several questions today about IMCOs, and this is the only IMCO that I have, and I fueled it up just to see if perhaps that was why it was not lighting any more reliably than it was. I did discover last summer, it seemed to me that with the windscreen up, so closed, it didn't seem to be lighting outside near as reliably as with the windscreen open. But here right now, I mean, that's been probably a little over an hour ago now. It's not evaporated out of there. You know there's fuel in there. So I would still put this above a Zippo, the Zippo Petrol insert, as far as what's most reliable in the Oklahoma wind. because I can at least twirl the end of a joint around in that once I've got it lit. Where with the Zippo, that flame dances around so much, the windscreen of the MCO keeps it kind of centralized, where you can at least focus on the base of the flame and not cut what you're smoking in half because of the errant dancing flame that burns through your paper. So I appreciate all you guys joining us today. We will plan to do it again next week, maybe even Friday, just depends what's going on. Definitely plan to do a live stream once a week. You'll get at least one full-length video probably on Saturdays, but you'll get one tomorrow also. So hopefully multiple per week. And then a short each weekday at noon. Still some question as to how reliable this one is right now. Until next time.